We're going to be reading from Parashat Vayaqhel. Kahal is to assemble or an assembly. So Vayaqhel means and he assembled. Well, who wants to read? Jesse, you want to get us started?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Vayaqhel Moshe et Chol Adat Bnei Yisrael Vayomer Alechem Ele Hadvarim Asher Tzava Adonai La'asot Otam.
Good. Only that chirik right there.
Oh,
How do you pronounce that?
Tzi.
Tziva.
Tziva.
Very good. Kahal is as I mentioned, Kahal is an assembly. It's translated into the Greek as ecclesia, which is a very well-known New Testament word. Here it's in the Vayaqhel, so causing to gather. Moshe is the subject. He's causing to gather whom? Et kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Is that a construct chain?
Could be.
Should be. It is. All of the congregation of the sons of Israel. Uh-oh. What's the difference between a kahal and an adat? Because this is being translated as congregation, and a kahal is a congregation. What's the difference?
Is adat related to the adut, like the testimony?
Very good. That's right. Edut is testimony. So the idea is that all these people are connected somehow because they are all serving as witnesses, or they have all witnessed the testimony, or they are all under the same covenant. Whereas a kahal is a physical group of people. So if there's a crowd, that's a kahal. If you have a bunch of people that are dispersed in their homes because it's dinner time, well, they're still an edut. They're still an adat because they all share an edut. So they are related, but they are still two different words. Vayomer, be sure to put your accent right there on the yod. Vayomer alehem. And he said to them, Ele hadvarim. Oops, I forgot to read through this before we started working through it. I'll have to remember to do that before we move to the next one. Ele hadvarim. This is a nominal sentence. We have to supply the verb. These, the words. No, these are the words. What about them? Asher introduces a dependent clause. Acts like an adjective for hadvarim. What words? The ones that tziva, he commanded. That is, the Lord has la'asot, from asa, to do. Otam, them. So where's the reference in this dependent phrase, this dependent clause? Where's the reference going back to the words?
Pronominal suffix on the otam.
This right here? Good. Yeah, that's a third person masculine plural pointing back to hadvarim, third masculine plural. So it's as if we could insert these words right into here, that the Lord commanded to do these words. These words, well, maybe these things, these commands, these things that have been discussed, essentially. So very quickly, Vayaqhel Moshe et kol adat bnei Yisrael, vayomer alehem ele hadvarim asher tziva Adonai la'asot otam.
Can I ask about that first word?
Oh, of course.
So a regular Vayaqhel would have a yod in there, right?
That's right.
Why does this not have a yod?
Pakapation. We would expect a chirik yod right here in the Vayaqhel. In the Yiktol form, we expect a patach and a chirik yod right there, but it's not there. Why? I said the answer is a pakapation. What does that mean? It is there's a difference between what we see happen in the Bible and why it happens that way. So I'm going to give you the answer what we see in the Bible. We get to see in Vayaqhel forms, in imperative forms, in infinitive forms, and in volative forms. Well, imperative is a volative, so I'll just put a slash right here. Volative. There are categories of words that all experience this phenomenon of apocopation. Apocopation, what does it mean? Well, it means several things. First off, if there is a mater lectionis letter, it goes bye-bye. Yod, vav, hey, it's going to disappear. So maters will disappear. Consider, let's see if I can give an example like Vayehi. Have you ever seen Vayehi? It's a Vayaqhel. Yod is the Yictol letter. The root is hey Yod. Wait, where's the rest of it? Well, the hey is actually a mater letter. It disappeared. So it is seeing apocopation. Yictol he feel is going to do the same thing, just like we're seeing here. But there are some other characteristics. For example, it will move the stress to the penultima. So often the stress will move.
Because of the Vayaqhel.
Right. Whether it's a Vayaqhel or possibly a volative. Well, I don't want to say it that way. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. There are examples of volatives where the stress moves up too. So this is all I'm doing right now is I'm describing this thing called apocopation, that it does these things over here. Where do we see apocopation? In this group of words.
Okay.
So they're both related to it. There's one more thing. Oh, it can cause vowel changes. So an example of vayiven. Well, that's the same thing. Ooh, vayakum. I actually mentioned that word earlier today. There we go. Vayakum. So it's going to see a missing mater lectionis letter, a vav, between the kuf and the mem. We see the vowel, we see the stress moving up to the penultima, and we see a vowel change where what was a vav is now a kamatz katan. So there you get to see all three of those happening. How about in the word vayomer? Is that an apocopated form? Well, we still see all three root letters, so it's not like a mater disappeared, but did the stress move up?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the non-apocopated form with the stress on the last syllable is going to be Vayomar. Vayomar. So when do we get to see Vayomar instead of Vayomer? They're both Vayaqhels. Why does one apocopate and the other one does not? Well, because this one is going to be at a disjuncting cantillation mark. This is a comma right here. For example, you're telling a story. This guy's talking, this guy's talking, this guy's talking, then that guy's talking. Each one of those, this guy talking, it could be Vayomer David, and that would be David said. But then after we've introduced David, a little bit later on down, it simply says Vayomar, comma. Why is there a comma? Because this is what he said. It starts the direct speech. So this is your pausal form. It's not going to see that same apocopation.
In this word, it's a sere. So is the Hidik Yod reducing to a sere?
Right. I hesitate to use the word reduce because both Hirik Yod and Sere are long vowels, but yes, it's a vowel change.
Okay.
The mater lectionis goes missing, and it seems to be a vowel change.
Okay.
Great question. All right. Eileen, you want to read the next one?
Sheftav.
Sheshet. Sheshet.
Eshet. Yomim.
This is a kamatz. Yamim.
Yamim.
Mm-hmm.
Da.
You count up.
E.
Mm-hmm.
Da. E.
Count up your full vowels. That tells you how many syllables you have. And then break it into the syllables. So full vowels, there's one, there's another, there's another. 3-syllable word. Where does it divide? Right here and right here. So break it up. Te,
Te.
a, se.
Se.
Good. Now put it together.
Da.
Te,
A.
a,
Te. A.
se.
Se.
Very good. And now put it all together. Te, a, se.
Te. A. Se.
Very good. Here you only have 2 full vowels. The way that I divide up syllables is to put the schwa in with another syllable. So I would call this the first one and that the second one. Mla.
Mela. Ka. Ha.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Milacha.
Melacha.
Milacha. Here we get 1, 2, 3 syllables. I'm drawing through the yod because it's a strong dagesh. The doubled yod, yes. So I'm going to divide between that grammatically doubled yod. Uvayom.
Nom.
Good. Uvayom.
Yom. Hashe. Be. Yi.
Mm-hmm. Hash. Shvi.
Mi.
E.
A.
Good. Hashvi E
A.
or Hashvi E.
A.
There we get 2 of them. There's one there, one there. Yih, yay.
Yay. Yi. Yay.
Mhm. It's really hard for a lot of people to put an H in the middle of the word because it feels like it takes your breath away. It's like, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, right? Yih, yay. Yih,
Yay.
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 And in modern Hebrew, nobody does this. It would just be yay. But properly, it should be yih, yay. Yih,
Yay.
yay. Here we get 2 vowels. Lachem.
Lachem Kodesh.
That's right. Kodesh.
Sa. Sabbath.
Wait, I thought sin is never right. It's a sheen.
Shabbat.
Shabbat. That's right. Three syllables. Shabbaton. Shabbaton.
Okay. I don't know that word. That's why I.
Actually, you do. Do you know what Shabbat is?
Yes. It means
Sh-
rest.
Very good. It actually comes from the root that means to cease and therefore rest. So Shabbaton comes from the exact same root. Shin bet tav, and there's an on the end that makes it a noun. I don't want to say diminutive noun because that's more modern Hebrew. What is it? Honestly, we get to see it mostly as Aramaic influence comes into Hebrew. But anyway, it's calling a Shabbaton some sort of rest as well. So a rest of rests or something like that. It must be a really big, really important
Shabbat.
rest. Shabbaton. Shabbaton.
Shabbaton la Adonai.
Mm-hmm.
Gol.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah, it's a kamatz katan kol.
Gol. Ha yi. Sha'a.
All right, we need to have a discussion real quick. I know this letter looks like a Y. Has nothing to do with our letter Y. It's an ayin. It has more to do with our English letter O, actually. The original shape of an ayin was that of an I, because ayin means I. And when the Greeks got it, they turned it into the letter O and repurposed it as a vowel because they didn't have an ayin sound in Greek.
Okay.
All this to say, when you see this, try not to think Y. It has nothing to do with Y. It's more of an sound. Ha-o-se. Ha-o-se.
Ha-ho-se.
Tell you what, let me simplify it. Ha-o-se. Treat it like an aleph, really. Ha-o-se.
Ha-ho-se.
That's good. That's modern. That's good. Vo,
Bo.
same as earlier. Milacha,
Melacha. Obe. Mato.
there's an oo right there and an ah right. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm using the wrong pen. There's an ooh right here and an ah right there. So say you mat. You mat.
Yuma.
Mm-hmm. Very good. All right, I'll read through one time and then we'll talk about the content here. Sheshet yamim te'aseh melacha uvayom hashvi'i yihye lachem kodesh Shabbat Shabbaton Ladonai. Kol ha'osevo melacha yumat. I'll just insert some commas in here. You can see that I've already included like a large space wherever there's a pause. So whenever you see a large space like that, have a look at what precedes. That thing right there means pause. This one means pause. That one means pause. And there's a huge space right here because this one means end of verse. But so when you're reading along, try and put a pause right there and at those certain symbols.
Right.
All right, let's translate. Sheshet.
6.
Yeah, it's written right there.
Number
But my
6.
question for you is what's the difference between shesh and sheshet? I thought the number for 6 was shesh. Why is it showing up here as sheshet?
Does it mean like 6 days?
No, the yamim is days. So the reason that it's sheshet is because there are two different forms of the numbers 1 through 10. There's a masculine form and there's a feminine form. And ironically,
This one's the feminine.
Ironically, the feminine form has no feminine hey or tav, and the masculine form has the feminine tav, which turns into a feminine hey. So by itself, the masculine number for 6 is shisha. So if I have 6 boys, 6 sons, I would say that I have shisha banim. But if I have 6 girls, then I would say that I have shesh banot. This is the feminine, that's the masculine. Why it does this? Nobody really knows. But in Semitic languages, we get what a feminine looking hey, which was originally a tav, on the end of masculine forms. So here in construct form, the 6 of days, so 6 days, the hey turns into its original feminine tav. Sheshet yamim, 6 masculine days, because days is masculine. Te'aseh, what's the root of te'aseh?
Aser.
Asa. Asa,
Asa.
to do or to make. Tav at the front. Who is the subject? Yiktol Tav means who?
You.
You.
It can either be you or it can be she. So we have to figure out from context which one it is. Here it appears to be talking to you, each and every one of you Israelites. So it's masculine singular. Wait, that's not right. Look at your subject over here.
Mm.
So is it you or is it she? Melacha, if she is the subject, then that means
Then
she.
it's
Exactly. That's it.
mhm.
This one over here. Okay, so the work will do. No one's going to stop me? Why do they say shall be done? That's passive.
Oh,
Now, why is it passive? What is passive? What does passive mean?
Being done to rather than the doing.
Very good. Instead of the subject doing the action, the subject is being, it is being done to the subject. I eat versus I am eaten. Two very different things.
So the work is being done.
So the work is being done. Good. So if this is passive, how do we know? What about this verb tells us that it's passive besides the English translation, which is not included in your Hebrew Bible? Binyanim.
mhm.
Binyanim. There are 7 binyanim. 3 of them are active and 3 of them are passive. In level A, we learn about kal binyan, or we learn kal binyan, but we don't ever hear that until level B. And that is an active voice whose passive is
Nifal.
Yeah.
nif
No.
al.
Nifal. Yeah.
Oh, this is
Nifal.
Nifal.
So
Okay.
then we get PL verbs, which are more intensive, and its passive is
Pu'al.
pu'al. And we get hif'il verbs, which are causative, causing something to happen, whose passive is
Hufal.
huf'al. And then the one in the middle that is both active and passive at the same time is
Hitpa'el.
I'm just going to write hit because I don't have much room here. Hit pa'el. It's reflexive, meaning I do it to myself, or it's reciprocal where we do it to each other. All right. So work shall be done. We know that asa is a kal binyan because it has that ah. It's active. The passive is nifal. I thought nifal verbs had a noon in them.
Not in Yiptal.
The ayin can't take the dagesh, so the vowel lengthened on the under the top.
Okay, so both of you are right. We don't get to see the noon in yiktol, but there should be a dagesh. Here we don't even get to see the dagesh because there's a guttural there. Let me show you. If we take a nifal verb like, let's just say naaseh, this is the word that means it is done or it was done. And then we put a yiktol tav on the front of it. Tin say. Oh, noon at the end of a syllable tends to assimilate into the next letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this noon out. There we go. And then put a dagesh right there. Brandon, what did Brandon just say?
I can't.
Gutturals are like, I'm sorry, I'm dagesh intolerant. So you're going to take it from the table and you're going to take it back to the kitchen over here and say, we don't want it. Keep it. No, what's actually happening is if I can't lengthen the ayin with a dagesh, then I lengthen the preceding vowel. And it's called compensatory lengthening, the exact same thing that happens with haaretz. It should be ha with a dagesh in it. Aleph says, sorry, I can't. So we take it back and lengthen the preceding vowel. Haaretz. It's the exact same thing that's happening here. So te'aseh should have a dagesh there to represent the missing nun. Alas, the ayin doesn't take it. So it's nifal. It disappeared. The only way we would know that it's nifal is by looking at the vowels, like e'ah, instead of the expected e'ah. Most of your nifals have an e'ah sound, right? Like a donkey.
Mhm.
E'ah, e'ah. This one has an accent. E'ah. Would you be able to know this is a nifal if you didn't have any vowels?
Can't imagine I would. No,
You would.
I
You
would.
most certainly would, because you would see melacha right here and this right here. You shall do work,
Mm.
right? 6 days, you shall do work. If it's a kal binyan, ta'aseh. But then it says, Uvayom hashvi'i yelachem kodesh shabbat shabbaton. You know what? I agree with you. You wouldn't know. Wow. Dude, that's amazing. I'm glad I asked that question because without the vowels there, it would become you shall do work.
That's what I thought it said all along.
Right,
'Cause it-
right.
'cause it
Unless
knows
it's
default.
nifal, and then
Yeah.
it becomes she shall be done. All
Mm.
right. So back to that question then, how could we know? Well, we could look at older commentaries on this, like rabbinic commentaries. Um, we could look at the Septuagint to see how it translated it. We
Mm.
could look at the Qumran scrolls. The Qumran scrolls seem to add a lot more yods and vavs and hays to represent vowels. I wonder if they would have inserted a yod right here to represent that this is a long vowel and therefore is a nifal. So there are tools, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Without the vowels, it might look like something else. Uvayom hashvi'i, and on the or in the day, the seventh one. Wait a second. We just learned about how there are two kinds of numbers, a male, a masculine, and a feminine. This isn't Shiva, but Yom is masculine. Why isn't it Shiva? What's the difference between a cardinal number and an ordinal number?
I don't know
Card-
the terms, but I know there's a difference between 7th and 7th.
Very good. That's the difference. A cardinal number is 1, 2, 3. An ordinal number is first, second, third.
Mhm.
It shows the order of something. So this is an ordinal number, and we know it's ordinal because there's an extra chirik yod tacked onto the end of it. Which day? The seventh one.
Seventh one.
What would the
Correct.
feminine form of this be? We would have to add a feminine tav to the end. Hashvi'it.
E.
Suppose it was the seventh year. How would you say in the seventh year?
I don't know.
Shaviti.
Okay. In the year would be Bashana
Oh, wow.
Ha Shvi'it. Like that. Now I have to fill in all the vowels. Shvi'it. Dagesh there. Bashana. There we go. Let me hear you say Bashana Hashvi'it.
Bashana.
Shana,
Bashana.
Hush.
Shevit.
Shvi'it. So here's your feminine tav right there.
like-
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like 6 she, so that would be like shishit.
Shishit. Very good.
Okay.
Shishi would be like Yom Hashi Yom Shishi. What is Yom Shishi in Hebrew?
6th day,
Yeah. Which day is that in the Roman calendar?
Friday.
Friday. There's a really fun song that went viral in Israel. Hayom Yom Chamishi, Chamishi, Hayom Yom Chamishi. And it's essentially like a TGIF, except in Israel, the weekend is pretty much like Friday, Saturday, where most people don't work. Whereas in the West, it's Saturday, Sunday. So instead of like, thank God it's Friday, it's today is Thursday, today's Thursday. And it's like the last day of the work week. So it's kind of fun.
TGIF.
Yeah, exactly. On the seventh day, Yihyeh Lachem Kodesh will be to you all. Wait, what's the subject of this verb? There. That's the subject,
Here.
right? There. No, where's the subject? I
No.
don't know. There.
They?
The day.
This is
The
this
day.
this yod is 3ms. So you're looking for a 3ms. Is Yom 3ms?
Mhm.
I think it is. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, don't doubt yourself. Of course it is. The
Yes.
problem is this is in a prepositional phrase in Yom Hashvi'i. So this is already a prepositional phrase. It's off on its own. So where's the subject? It's not there. Where else is a 3ms?
Kodesh?
Kodesh. Kodesh is a noun. See how they translated it as an adjective?
Mhm.
Punks. Why would they do that? Because it sounds better in English. Kodesh is a noun. Think about all of the words you know that are sounding. Boker, rochav. Well, rochav has a rochav, but anyway, yofi is also one. Do you all know any other words that have an sound besides kodesh and boker?
Mm.
Sure, I'm forgetting some of them. There are lots of them. Anyway, all of those are nouns. So this is your subject. A holy thing there shall be to you. Yeah, what kind of holy thing? Shabbat Shabbaton. By the way, well, no, I'm going to ask this as a question. Shabbat, masculine or feminine?
I'm looking at the top, thinking it's feminine.
Good. What's the root?
So, I
Shin bet
Shabbat.
tav.
Uh,
Shin bet tav. So the trick here is that the tav is part of the root. It has no suffix. It's masculine.
mhm.
Oh,
There are some roots that are confusing like that. How about the word tzevet? In Hebrew, we write it with two vavs, but whatever. I'll write it with one. Tzevet
the team.
is a team, and its
Mhm.
root is tzadi vav tav. Masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Masculine.
Absolute. What about a misharet? It's going to be with a kamatz. There we go. Misharet is someone who is ministering or serving, like a ministering angels, like the ministering angels. Malachei hasharet is how liturgy puts it. Sharet is the root. So misharet, masculine or feminine? Masculine.
Masculine word.
How would you make it feminine?
You would put a dagesh?
No, you'd put a feminine tav on there.
Ah.
Misharetet.
Mm.
So this is the root tav, root number 3, and this is your feminine tav at the end. Are there a lot of these roots that have a tav at the end? No, no, not at all. But there are some, so you have to watch out for them. You know how many people in Israel say that tzevet is feminine? Probably a majority. Okay, Shabbat Shabbaton comes from that root to cease, and this is where we get the Sabbath. This is the construct form. Shabbat or Shabbat. The absolute form would be like this. Shabbat, a little bit longer vowel. The Ashkenazis pronounce this as an O sound, or more like an aw sound, and this as an S. So that's where they get Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos. Yeah, Gut Shabbos. The Gut comes from German.
Yeah.
Gut Shabbos. Shabbos. Like that.
And
Anyway.
they pronounce that tav without a dagesh as a S because it used to be a th, right? And they didn't know how to
Yeah,
say that.
exactly. How many Germans do you know that can pronounce the TH?
Right.
I think not, my friend. Or I guess I'm not doing a very good one. I'm not very good at that. I speak German, but I don't have a good German accent. Sorry. Shabbat Shabbaton Ladonai, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Kol haoseh. What is oseh? Oseh. Can't no different oseh.
Participle, right?
It's a
Doing.
it's a participle,
The
but because
doers.
of the ha at the front, it means it's substantive. It's
Oh,
acting like a noun.
so the doer, the
The
doing.
one doing, exactly. The
Mhm.
one doing, or each and every of the one doing.
Oh,
So all who do. Bo or vo, because there's a vowel before it. In it. In what?
Shabbat,
Exactly. Masculine or feminine.
Mm.
masculine.
Masculine.
Yeah.
Is bo the
Malacha.
word for come?
You'd have to add an aleph to the end of it like this, and then it becomes an imperative telling a man, come here. And if it's a woman, you would say boy like this, and then it would turn it into a feminine. So without the aleph there, you have something else. You have ba with a pronominal suffix o, in him or in it,
Mhm.
referring to the Shabbat or to the day of Shabbat. So all doing work in it, melacha, there's your work, yumat. What's the root of yumat?
Mavet.
Ma?
Love that.
Mm-hmm. The noun is mavet. The verbal form is mut or mot, or actually, no, mot is the construct. This is the absolute form. The construct form is mot. Ooh, I don't know if I want to mention that. Probably not. Okay, mut. So to die. What form is this verb? Is it
Past
active or? Oh, yes, it is. The Yod tells us that it's 3ms. It also tells us that it's a yiktol. What is that?
So,
Ooh, before the root tell us?
Oh, pual. No.
Well,
no,
in
it,
Pual, the ooh comes after the pa. What comes before the pa? I mean, in what binyan does the ooh come before the pa?
Hufal.
Hoof al. Here's your first root letter represented by the pei. Here's the ooh coming before it. That's what this one is.
Okay. Okay.
So that means it's causative and passive. And then the yod tells us that it's incompleted, probably future. So he will be caused to die.
mm.
Mm.
Not going to say how, but somehow he's going to be caused to die. So best not to do work on the Shabbat.
Can I ask 2 quick questions?
Of course.
Yeh. I noticed that on that second hey, you're pronouncing that almost. I'm actually hearing the breathy sound there, so it's not yeh.
Oops.
It's
No,
yeh.
it's supposed to be yay. It's a vowel.
Okay, so no.
So my apologies if it's coming through as a breathy hey. Yih yay.
Even on the other one, I thought I heard you say
Oh,
yeh.
oh, this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a consonant.
Oh, it is. Okay.
100%. It's a
Yeh.
consonant.
Yeah. Okay. And
Hey at the end of a word can be a vowel.
Mhm.
Everywhere else it has to be a consonant
Okay. On the next one, lachen. Why isn't that lech?
because
Why
it's
is it
not
la?
bread.
Why?
It's not bread. Lechem is bread.
Okay. Right. I just was expecting it to be a shva under the lamed.
Oh, hang on a second. All right, I know the reason, but the answer that I'm giving you has an inconsistency, so I hesitate to give it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. The original form of le, which we know as to, for, towards, belonging to, the original form of it is la.
Mm.
It's just that if you're far enough away from the open syllable long vowel, you're going to have it go to a shva, just like we see in construct form. That's essentially the same thing that happens in a lot of different. Even the word v was originally va. Well, it's actually wa, but whatever. And it reduces to shva because it's too far away from the stress. Same thing with b, also became it came from ba. Now this is well, gosh, there's so much I want to say, but I'm not going to do it. Okay,
So on a really
and
short
so
word like this, it would just show up as a la.
well, that's the thing. I knew you would pick up on it immediately, and that's why I hesitated, but I'm going to do it anyway. So la is the original form.
Mhm.
It should have gone to le, just like we see it in lecha. Do you know what the pausal form of lecha is? If it shows up at the end of a verse or at the end of one of these cantillation marks that disjuncts the pausal form, it turns back into its original la. But then something funny happens. Now this vowel is in an unaccented open syllable and turns into a shva, lach,
Oh, okay.
which, in case you guys didn't know, also looks like the feminine form, lach.
Yes, I see that in the Sevilla all the time, and I'm like, what are they
Exactly.
doing?
Why are we talking to a man saying lach? Because it's pausal. It
Oh,
that's something interesting about pausal forms is that they typically bring back historical vowels.
okay.
This is more original. Now, why didn't this change to a schwa here? Honestly, I think it's because if you would entertain this idea for just a second, most segols in Hebrew are artificial. They're inserted because it's easier to pronounce. What's the original form of Kodesh? Either Koj or Kuj. Exactly. The segol is artificial. What about this one right here? Chances are there used to be a vowel after this, maybe an U or an O based on what we have in the Psalms. So this was probably lachmo or lachmu. Then when we lose the vowel, it becomes lachm, which is very hard to say. So Hebrew inserted a segol. Lachem. This is the same idea that we get in things like mishpachat. You know what a mishpacha? What is a mishpacha?
Family.
Yeah. So mishpacha is the absolute form. In the construct form, it becomes. Why did I choose this one? Because of the chet, the segols actually become a patach. So it's mishpachat. Let me think of a different one. Mimshelet. Mimshelet. That's a better one. Mimshelet. Like this. The root is mashal, to rule. And mimshelet has right here. Why? Artificial. It was originally mimshalt. So this would have had probably a patach or a kamatz, and then mimshalt. This would have had an original case ending at the end, like mimshaltu is nominative, mimshalti would have been genitive, mimshalta is accusative. Hebrew doesn't have time for that. It lost those a long time ago. So now we have mimshalt, which is hard to pronounce. So we put a little in there. It becomes mimshalet. When then that has an influence on the preceding vowel, we get mimshelet. Whew. This language is thousands of years old. You get a lot of changes. Go ahead.
I bet. I was gonna say, is that the case for a lot of the Segalet nouns?
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. Once Hebrew creates this generic pattern of
Mhm.
it then applies it to all of the other nouns as well. So,
Mm,
yeah, all your segolets like melech,
mm,
yeled, originally those were malk, yald,
mm.
and the segals are artificially inserted. So, anyway, that's something to keep in mind about. Ooh, what about this segol right here? Is that artificial? You better bet your bottom, because the root is ein, sin, yod. Where's the yod? Well, evidently it was too hard to say te asai
Mm.
with a yod, so the yod was simply dropped off, and now it's te ase. Segals are artificial.
Interesting.
What about this one right here? Well, that's just getting ridiculous. Never mind. I'll back off. Okay. Any comments or questions before we move on? This one is so short. I would hate to have to give this to anyone. I'm going to read this one, and then Jesse, you take the next one. Lo teva'aru esh bechol moshvote, moshvotechem, final stress, biyom hashabbat. Oh, look, there's that original vowel I was talking about. Lo teva'aru. What is bo'er?
Burn, kindle.
Burn.
Exactly. So tiva'aru, you plural, you all shall not light a fire, esh, bechol moshavotecha. What's the root of moshavotecha? Let's
Mashav.
slice. Mm,
Y- no.
let's slice it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's chem, yours. This yod is yod of the plural. Ot is feminine, or I say feminine plural, but it's of the plural. It's actually an irregular. It's masculine. Sorry. So we get moshav. What's the root of moshav?
Shav's in there somewhere. So Yoshev or
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The root is originally it's washav,
mm,
and that's the reason we get an O here.
mm,
Hebrew turns these initial vavs into initial yods, yashav. So if you want to look this up in a dictionary, look under yod.
mhm,
But why is this a vav? Because it's more original.
mm.
So adding a mem to the beginning of yashav, well, that's essentially the same kind of word as migdal. What? Why? Because this was originally an ah sound. Instead of a chirik, it was an ah sound. So that's magdal. Mao. What's an ow sound going to turn into? Oh.
Oh.
Instead of maushav, it's moshav. It's easier to say.
Mm.
Why did we turn magdal into migdal? Probably because Israelites spoke at the front of their mouth. That was their dialect. At least that's what the evidence seems to indicate to me. All right, Jesse, you want to read this one?
Okay. Vayomer Moshe el Chol Adat Bnei Yisrael Lemor Ze Hadavar Asher Tziva Adonai Lemor.
All right. So it was a little longer, but the content is a little underwhelming because it's just introducing what he's about to say. Vayomer Moshe. Moses spoke, said, El kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Hey, we saw this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Construct chain. Lemor, to say, but it sounds better to put saying. It's literally an infinitive construct. Ze hadavar. Nominal sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Supply the verb. This, the thing. This is the thing. What about that thing? Asher tziva Adonai lemor. Which, that, the Lord commanded, 3ms TL verb, katal, which the Lord commanded to say. Where's the reference or the referent, I guess, referent. Maybe that's not the right word. Where's the word that refers back to hadavar in this subordinate clause?
Mm.
It's not there.
Siva? It's not there?
No, it's not there.
Hmm.
There's nothing referencing back to hadavar. We need a 3ms thing referring back to davar. The Lord commanded. It's not there. It's simply understood. We do this in English all the time. The food that I made, I don't say the food that I made. Well, that's not a good example, I suppose. God is in the heavens above me. No, that's not a good one either. Come on. That are what? No. Wow, I can't think of a good English example because the way that we introduce dependent clauses is different than in Hebrew. Bummer. Anyway, it's understood. If we wanted to put it explicitly here, we would need an oto,
Mhm.
or the Lord commanded to say it oto, and then that would refer back to hadavar. All right, Eileen, kachu. Let me hear you say kachu. Is it difficult? Eileen, I can't hear you. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, this is very difficult for for a lot of people to say because you have a k right there and a right here. Kehu,
Who,
kehu.
who,
Mm-hmm. Me
me,
itachem. So,
doan,
uh-huh.
me, te, hit, him,
Yeah, exactly. Me itachem. Me itachem.
him, to, re, u, em,
Split it up into 2 syllables. This right here is true, which sounds like somebody with an accent saying true. True.
tru,
Ma.
emha, ma,
Well, it's not emha, it's just the making the M sound. So
ma,
ma. Exactly. Truma.
ma, la Adonai,
La Adonai.
la
Now,
Adonai,
remember that in Jewish tradition, this represents Adonai, but when you put la in front of Adonai instead of la'a, it just becomes la. La Adonai.
la Adonai, kol,
Kol. Nadiv. Nadiv.
netiv,
Right?
lev,
It's the same root as lev, but look, it has a chirik. Libo.
oh, libo. Okay. Um,
This one's a little tricky. It's got 3 vowels, so I'm going to split it into syllables. Yivi e
Yevi,
ha.
ha,
Yivi eha.
eha, at,
It's not at. There's an e. It's a tsere. Et.
et,
Mm-hmm.
et,
Same as earlier. Tru.
tru, mach,
Good. Here, there's a tav on it. It's a little bit different, isn't it? Mat.
Mat.
Mm-hmm. That means it's
Trumat.
that means it's a construct. It's in a construct form, construct chain. Trumat.
Mat. Adonai.
Adonai.
Sava.
Zahav.
Tav. Sahav.
You got zahav it. It's gold. Zahav.
Sahav. Um,
Vachesef.
Chesed.
Mm-hmm.
Va- oh,
This is unchoshet.
Chef.
Unchoshet.
Chef.
Mm-hmm. Earlier I mentioned, well, let me read it real quick and then I'll get to that. Kchu meitchem teruma ladonai kol nediv libo yevieha et trumat Adonai zahav vachesef unchoshet. Earlier I mentioned that ve came from va. There it is.
Mhm.
It's right next to the stress syllable, so it remained va. And what is the root of kchu?
Lakach.
Ugh.
Lakach. Where's the lamed?
Not there.
Disappeared.
It disappeared. Why are all these letters disappearing? Rest in the fact that lamed only disappears in this verb.
Mm.
Meaning this is the only verb where lamed generally disappears. Usually our weak letters are yod, vav, and nun. But it just so happens that the lamed is acting like disappearing nun right here because technically it's a little bit of a weak letter. Does it disappear in the definite article? Well, some people say yes. In the definite article, we say ha with a strong dagesh. Why? Because something's missing. What? Probably a lamed. Hal, which looks like the Arabic al, which also means the same thing. The.
Mm.
So instead of likhu, it becomes khu. Take. What's the u tell me? Because it tells me what person, gender, number that I'm giving this
Mhm.
command to. Kach is speaking to a man. He is speaking to a woman. What is khu?
Talking to her.
No, that would be
A group.
a group. Exactly, a masculine plural group. Hey, you all. Khu. Take me itchem. From with you. It was with you, and now it's being taken from you. Khu me itchem. Take from you, or take from being with you. Teruma. Teruma is a noun. From what root? What's the root of teruma?
Room.
Rum. And what does it mean?
Rise up.
To exalt it kind of.
To lift up, exalt. So
Yeah.
teruma, this tav is a preformative that's part of the pattern of the word. So is the hay. A thing that is offered up. An offering. Teruma. Ladonai, for the Lord, to the Lord. Kol nadiv libo. All right. Lev is heart. Here it's showing up as libo. Well, that's weird. What's the root of lev?
Levav.
And we get to see the word levav show up in the Bible time and again.
Mhm.
Lamed bet bet. Look, there are your two bets with a strong dagesh. and it says that's the heart of 3ms. Him. Him who? Well, probably referring back to each one, or each one who is willing, the one who is willing, the one who is, what is the root nadi that says willing? I think generous might actually be a better definition for this. The one who is generous of heart. The absolute form is nadiv. But in construct, that drops to a shva. Yivieha. Oh boy, what's the root here?
Bo.
Very good. Bo, which we talked about earlier, means to come. But now the vav is missing, and instead there's a yod. Oh, help me out. Tell you what.
No.
Let's peel off the pronominal suffix first. Ha refers to
Her.
her, the truma.
Mhm.
So that's our 3FS. So the word we have here is yavi, yavi. This is the word yavi. It's just that when we move the stress from here over to there, it turns the kamatz into a shva. I see a recurring pattern here. So yavi comes from bo. So what binyan is it? We see it's a 3ms because of the yod. What binyan is yavi?
The shva under the prefix there makes me think PL.
I know, but I just told you that the vowel is a ya that got reduced down to a shva.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a ya, then what does it make you think?
Vayaqhel? Oh,
Vekatal.
reduce.
It can't be vekatal because that would start with a vav, and this doesn't.
Yeah.
Is that a he feel?
It is a he feel.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with it? It's irregular. What's wrong with it?
Regular he feel.
Oh, it's totally irregular. It's irregular because of this vav in the root. Remember, the irregular root letters are yod, vav, and nun. This one has a vav. When you put it into he feel, you would expect it to be something like yav, we. Like this. Yav, we. There's your 3 root letters. 1, 2, 3. There's the form you would expect in he feel. So why didn't they just preserve it like this? Yavui. Because we is harder to say than e. So instead of yavui, it becomes yavi. Well, if that's the case, then we have to shift things around. We need this to be a long vowel because it's in an open syllable. We're going to shift the chirik over to there because we dropped the vav. Oy vo voy. Oy va voy. So it's he feel causing something to come, to bring it. He will bring, or let him bring, her, that is the truma, et trumat Adonai. So this is just a clarification of what we've already said. Let him bring her. Bring what? Et trumat Adonai, the offering of the Lord. Zahav. So this is your halfway marker, that et nachta. So now we're going to continue with the second half, the second logical half of the verse, even though it's only 3 more words. What is this truma? Zahav, gold, vachesef, silver, unechoshet, bronze. Okay, comments, questions?
Is that thing that happened there with the Yeviha, Yevieha, is that going to happen with all verbs that have the yod or the vav in the middle?
Yes.
That's the same thing.
Let me offer a quick caveat. Whenever you see a yod in the root, like seem
Mhm,
or shir,
mhm.
those do not show up in the he field.
Mm.
It's only the ones that have a vav in it, like bo, or, oh, by the way, lean is also in here. Lean, shuv.
Mm.
So the ones that have a vav are the ones that can be in hifil. And yes, in that case, the vav will turn into a yod. So how do you say cause to return?
No idea.
Yes, you do. The root is shuv. We just learned that this vav is going to be replaced. So yod. And this patach has to lengthen. It's the same pattern as yavi was.
Hmm.
Yashiv.
Yeshiv.
Yashiv, causing something to come back, to return. Yashiv.
Hmm.
All right. Oh, look at this cute little verse. Thomas, would you like to read?
ותחילת also, וארגמן ותולעת שני ושש ואיזים.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Ve'izim.
זים.
Very short, but it's continuing the list of those things that can be brought for a truma. What is, well, let me just read through one time quickly. Utchelet ve'argaman ve'tola'at shani ve'shesh ve'izim. Tchelet is the blue thing that's in the tassels in the tzitzit. Argaman is the purple derived from the same source, the mollusk. Vitola'at shani, that's your scarlet. They say here yarns. It's not yarns, it's worms. Because it comes from a silkworm, red silkworm. Vishesh, linen, which comes from flax. Izim, and goats. One of these things is not like the others. All of these have to do with making textiles, and then there's female goats. Are we putting female goats into our textiles? No, the hair from it. And you can see that the translator offered as much of an explanation. Jesse, you're up next.
Ve'orot elim me'adamim ve'orot tehashim va'atse sitim.
Well, that's not right. That's
Yes.
well,
Kamatz
yeah, okay.
katan.
The kamatz katan in me'odamim, that's correct.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
That
acacia wood is shitim. So why is the dot on the left side?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
zitim.
It should be shitim. There's somebody in my congregation that, like a small child, always makes fun of it. Shitim. I'm like, oh my gosh, grow up. All right. Where are we? Vayaqhel. Go
Was I
ahead.
supposed to do a O there? I think I was.
Correct. You caught it. It's
Okay.
just I got distracted. And aha. Yep. It's supposed to be shitim. There's a mistake. There's a mistake. Ah, that stinketh. Where did I get this? All right. Sorry about that, folks. Warning, warning. There's a mistake. That should be right there. Not right there. All right. Orot elim. What is or?
Light?
If it's with an aleph, it's light.
Oh.
With an ayin, it means skin. Orot is the skins of elim. They're calling it rams. That's cool. Could also be a stag, a male. Well,
Is the root or? Is the root or in dieses Ve'orot?
yeah, the root is.
Oh,
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Yeah, it should be. I think it should be ein vav resh. If I'm wrong, then it would be ein resh resh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah,
Same as
yeah,
same as
you-
the word ir or lehitorer, to wake up. Elim, it comes from the same root as ayelet, which is a doe, a deer, a female deer. So this might be stags and it might be rams. Probably makes more sense to say rams because the Israelites had a bunch of rams. Me'odamim. How did I know this was a kamatz katan?
Something about stress and something else.
That's correct. Something about stress. It can't be stressed. And something else. It has to be a closed syllable. With that strong dagesh in the dalet, it makes it a closed syllable. Now, besides that, I know how else it should have been a kamatz katan, and it's because with this meh right here, and with this im right here, I know that it is a participle of either the PL or pu'al flavor. And it can't be PL because that would have a patach right here. So it pretty much narrows it down to a pu'al. The u and o go back and forth quite a bit in Hebrew because historically o vowels were u vowels. The aleph prefers an o sound instead of u. So it's something that has been made, passive, pu'al, been made adom, red. a redded a redded skin of the rams. Anyway, I digress. Ve'orot tchashim. It's probably not goats. Tachash is probably a sea-dwelling creature. The Targum Ankylos says that it is a joy-colored creature, which means it has lots of different colors. Some people think it is a porpoise, if I spelled that right. And some people think that it might be a stingray. The stingray has beautiful, multicolored hide. Do you call it a hide if it's on a stingray? Skins. This also shows up in Ezekiel where the shoes are made out of the same leather. I think it's Ezekiel. Va'atse shittim, and the wood of shittim, acacia.
The eights there means trees. Is it in the plural form, 18? Is that always mean wood?
It means wood, trees, lumber, one of those.
Okay.
But yeah, the plural is etzim. And then here in the construct, atse. Are we, wait a second. Brandon, are we back to you? Hang on a second. I think we are. Brandon, I think we're back to you.
Okay. Vashimin lamaorot. No. Vashimin lamaor. Uvashamim. Oh, uvesamim. Uvesamim. The spices, yeah, of course. Havdalah. Leshimin hamishcha. Veliktoet. Veliktoet. Hasamim.
Very good. Veshemen lamaor uvesamim leshemen hamishcha veliktoret hasamim. Ironically, these two words come from the same root.
They sound very similar. Yes.
Samim. I believe they come from the same root. Here we get a dagesh. Here we don't. But I know in later biblical Hebrew, we get to see a lot of scenes turning into samichs.
Interesting.
Shemen lamaor. So here we get to see the root for light or, but there's a mem with a kamatz in front of it. What kind of word is this?
Cool.
It's a participle.
Participle. For
Remember that we expect a patach, but with only 2 root letters, we get a kamatz. Wait a second. Ma'or. No, you big silly head. That's not it. It's a noun with a it's a noun with the mem at the front, like ma'kom. There we go. That's more like it. Ma'kom, ma'or. So something related to lighting. For the illumination, maybe that would be a good translation. Light, oil for the illumination. Uvesamim, spices. The shemen hamishcha. What is hamishcha?
from
Anointing.
Mashiach.
Exactly. It's the same root as Mashiach. Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. Lay, 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 lay. Veliktoret. What is hiktir? You know what liktoret is? What is hiktir?
Whatever it is, it's a he feel, right?
It's a he feel.
Make something smoke.
Make something smoke. That is absolutely perfect.
Interesting.
If you make something smoke, it's hiktir, and then the ktoret is the incense, the thing that is smoked, turned into smoke. Ktoret hasamim, the incense of samim, which I think has a lot to do with this, but they call it fragrant. Meh. Boy, these are such itty bitty verses. Who's up next? Jesse, have you read yet? Is it your turn yet? I think I'm getting lost.
I admit I can read. I don't know if it's my turn
All
or
right,
not.
go ahead and the picture boxes are moving around, so I'm just going to start at the top and go down. Go ahead.
Ve'avnei shocham ve'avnei miluim la'ephod ve'lachoshen.
Good. Here you get to see 2 more words that have that penultimate O. This is shoham, and this is hoshen. Ooh, choshech. Why didn't I think of that one earlier? Darkness. Okay. Ve'avnei shoham, ve'avnei miluim, la'ephod, ve'lachoshen. Okay, there's a lot of words in here that maybe we're not familiar with, and that's okay. We're getting kind of a laundry list of all the things required for putting the temple together. What is an even?
Stone.
Stone. The avnei shoham, the stones of onyx, whatever onyx is. The avnei miluim. What is this word? What is the root?
Malay, fool.
Malay is to be full. What is, well, I don't think you guys know that. What do you know? Do you know the word di? Do you know the word dibur? Probably not. What is lidaber? Daber?
Speak.
Yeah, to speak. He spoke. Or speak. Yeah. Diber. I'll put it with a chirik if you prefer. Diber means he spoke. Dibur is the act of speaking. Exactly. Here we get milu, which is the same pattern. So if malay is to fill, then miluim is a noun. It's an act of filling. And to be clear, this is a PL derivative. It's a noun of a PL verb. So it's not malay to be full, but rather milay to fill something up. From it comes milu, which is the act of filling up. So stones for filling up. What is it? Well, setting stones. If you know anything about setting gems, you make a you put your prongs in place, and then you set your stone in it, and then bend it into place so it doesn't fall out. Stones for filling. La ephod for
Ephod.
Ephod.
exactly, the vest, and then velachoshen. The choshen is they translate it here as a breastplate. I think I might be wrong, but I thought the choshen is also what held the was it the umim and tumim? I thought it held something, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look it up. Working my way down, Thomas, you're next. Eileen, you'll be after this. Go ahead, Thomas.
וכל חכם לב בכם יבואו ויעזו את כל אשר ציווה אדוני.
What's this word?
יבואו. Okay. Und ויעזו. Oh, nee. Hä? ויעזו.
Mm-hmm. Vaya'asu. Vaya'asu.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what I just made there, in German, there's something called an S set,
Yeah.
which is a combination of the original form of the S with its final form, and that turns into S set. Most people don't know that if they don't know German. So when I put this over it, that was telling Thomas this is a S sound. Vaya'asu. And
ויעשו. Okay.
to most English speakers, that looks like a B.
Yeah.
Okay, v'chol chacham lev bachem yavo'u vaya'asu et kol asher tziva Adonai. All right, there's not too much to do here. And all wise ones of heart. This actually, you know what? This is probably acting as an adjective. Wise of heart. Did you know that adjectives can be in a construct chain? Have you ever seen that blue-eyed person?
Mm.
In English, we can do it too. This is a construct chain with an adjective. This is wise of heart. Bachem, among you all. Yavo'u. They, all those, they will come, or they should come, or they shall come. Vayasu, and get to work. Make it. Do it. Make what? Et kol, everything that the Lord commanded to make. Oto. Implied, but not there. That's your reference back to kol. No, kol. Sorry, kol. Kol is a noun. What do you have to make? Everything. What about everything that the Lord commanded it?
The Vayasu, that is not a Vayaqhel, right?
Correct. It can't be a Vayaqhel. Both
Have the
both
pattern.
both morphologically, it doesn't have the pattern. It would need a patach and a chir and a dagesh, but also because of context.
Context, yeah.
They haven't even called the wise of heart yet, much less have they already completed it? Have they already started? Have they already done it? No. It's a yiktol with an and in front.
I'm still at the phase where I can't see the context because I can't see the forest through the trees. I'm still looking at each individual word.
Right. Yep. Totally understand. And the better your vocabulary gets, the better that skill becomes.
Yeah.
All right. Eileen, this one's for you.
Okay. Et ha me pro kol af
This is a kaf. Ha-mish-kan.
hamishkan,
Mm-hmm. Et hamishkan.
et ha et elo,
Surprise, surprise, that's a kamatz katan. Oholo. Oholo.
oholo, um,
Ve'et.
ve'et ma, no, me, mi, gol, mi, gol,
Michsehu. Michsehu.
mi, sehu,
Mm-hmm. Can you give me some more? Mich. Mich.
mi,
There you go. Say.
sehu,
Who. That's it.
et
Krasav.
karasav,
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't pronounce that yod anymore.
loet,
Ve'et.
ve'et. Okay.
Krashav.
Karasav,
Mm-hmm. Karashav. That's it.
sav,
Yeah.
karashav,
Mm-hmm. Good. Karashav.
et ba, bara, ha, of,
Here it doesn't have an O sound. It's berichav. Berichav.
berichav,
Uh-huh.
et o, o, me,
That's u a. Amudav.
amdav,
Mm-hmm. Amudav.
ba'at,
Ve'et.
o ve'et.
Adanav.
Adan, av,
There's a noon here. Adanav. Let me hear you say Adanav.
ana, ad, adanav,
Right. Adanav. All right, let me read through one time. Et hamishkan, et ohlo, ve'et michsehu, et krasav, ve'et krashav, et brichav, et amudav, ve'et adanav. Seems like there's a lot of avs. What does av mean? Of.
It's or
It's
he.
or
Mhm.
his.
Belonging to him, exactly. Belonging to whom?
Mishkan.
Mishkan. Right. Oh, hello. Michsehu. Those are also referring to him. Your more original form of the 3ms suffix is ehu. Michsehu. Why do I get a kamatz katan right here? Somebody help me understand. Say again?
I said no idea. I know the word is ohel for tent.
Then
So
that's your reason.
okay, just because
Because
that's how it is.
well, no. It's not well, it's not quite that simple, I suppose, but ohel has a segol. Sickles are artificial. So the original form of this word would have been oh. Oh. That's hard to say.
That is
Oh. Okay, that's not entirely true. There used to be a case ending. So if we put an oo sound at the end, it would have been more something like oh lu, which is a little easier. But once we lose that case ending, we now have oh, which is too difficult. So we turn it into ohel. This O is still representing an older oo sound, like this, ooh, lu. And this short vowel in Hebrew comes across as kamatz katan because O and U are related.
Mm.
Now we can't put a shva on a hey, so we're going to give the same flavor reduced vowel as the full vowel has. This is a kamatz katan, so that's a reduced kamatz. Oho. Oholo. Mishkan comes from the root shachen, to dwell. So the Mishkan is the dwelling place, or in Latin, tabernacle. What is the root kasa or kafsa? It's actually kise, kisa. What is kaf samech yod?
To cover.
Yeah, to cover, exactly. Kasav, krashav, bricho. It's funny. This looks like the root is barach, to run away. You think of a bar, how it's long. It's running away. What is an amud from the root?
Pillar.
standing, like Ahmad stand.
Okay.
Exactly. An amud is a thing that stands there and you don't want it to move. Brandon, your turn.
Et ha'aron ve'et badav et ha'kaporet ve'et parochet hamasach.
Very good.
Hamasach.
Hamasach. Et ha'aron, box, chest.
Down it.
Mhm. Yes, let me read through it one time real quick. Et ha'aron ve'et badav et hakaporet ve'et parochet hamasach. The kaporet, what word do we know that has the same root?
Kippur, Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
That's a different one.
That looks very close though without the
It looks very close because it's peresh kaf instead of kaf peresh.
Mhm.
There must be a connection. Behind the veil is where we get our kippur.
Mhm.
Maybe. What about this word right here? What's the root of this word?
No idea.
Oh dear. I wouldn't
I said,
ask
oh,
unless it was challenging.
no, I said, oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, no
Stomach.
idea? Yes, you do. You know at least two of the letters.
Mem and Samik.
Yeah.
You think the mem is part of the root? Is hey part of the root?
No.
No, that's the word the. Mem at the front of a word. How often is mem at the front of the word part of the root? Statistically speaking, you'd be better off to guess that mem is not part of the root. So all we get is a samech and a kaf. Has anyone ever heard of the Festival of Tabernacles in Hebrew? What is it called?
Sukkot.
Sukkot.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what schach is? It's the same root, samech kaf
Roof.
kaf.
A roof.
Exactly. Schach has to do with green vegetation that is used as a roof, as a covering, as on a well, could be in general, but especially when you're talking about Sukkot, that temporary vegetation that you put on your roof. That's where the word Sukkot comes from. Schach. So here, a masach, sure, it has a missing root letter because of the doubled kaf here. In level D, we learn about roots where the second and third root letter are the same, and sometimes one will go missing. Hey, like this one. But it still has to do with that covering. A masach.
Interesting.
I think about, you know what? Masicha, Masicha, Masicha. I wonder if that is a derivative root then. Mem samich kaf, if that comes from schach, and that the root actually is mem samich kaf. You guys are just too smart for me. Let me look it up. Because I'm now thinking of like the word misicha, which is mem samich kaf. And I'm wondering if it comes from that. I'm going to pull up my dictionary here. Give me a second. This is my compilation of lots of dictionaries. So let me look up mem misicha. Oh. Misicha, masacha, or masecha. Misicha is right there. Tell you what, let me just look up mem samich kaf. Masach. No, that's different. Mesech has to do with pouring out. All right. I'm feeling
There is to cover screen. Mazach, the second from over the blue one. It's Mazach.
Denominated from Masach. Oops. Camouflage to be covered. Screen curtain misuch. All right. Well, I got to admit, I was wrong. The root is mem samich kaf. Should have played your odds. I mean, you should have played against the odds. Sorry, guys. Even I'm wrong. I'll let you know, though.
But I thought it was the one on top of it.
Well, the one on top.
No, the blue.
Above the blue line. I thought it was that one.
Okay.
Masach.
The reason I'm looking at this one instead of that one is because I was looking for the verbal root where it could have come from.
Mm.
But we can look here too. Masach is a curtain or a screen. I was just looking to see if this, usually when you look up the root like this, you can get more information about the etymology. Like it's telling me mashijah is the Arabic equivalent, or Ugaritic masach. So that tells me, oh, look at the Aramaic mazag. Really? That's interesting to me. Anyway, I'm nerding out. I'm going to stop now. All right. I do have a class I have to get to shortly, so I can't stay with you all night. Thank you all so much for showing up, and hopefully next time we'll get a few more people after this whole daylight savings thing is done and behind us. If you like these videos, consider supporting them. Until next week, see you. Shalom.
Oh.
Shalom.
Oh.